This week, one of our topics is about the rectangular coordinate system. The rectangular coordinate system is likewise known as the Cartesian coordinate system, named after René Descartes. The Cartesian plane is formed by using two real number lines intersecting at right angles. The horizontal line is the x-axis, and the vertical line is the y-axis. Always draw your two axes exactly at the grids of the Cartesian plane. Again, exactly at the grids of the Cartesian plane. Do not also forget to put or write small letter x and small letter y to emphasize the name of the axis. In writing the numbers, also align it to the grids of the Cartesian plane. So this is for your y-axis, and this is for your x-axis. The point where the two axes intersect is what we call the point of origin or origin. The intersecting x and y axes divide the coordinate plane into four sections. These four sections are what we call quadrants. Quadrants are named using the Roman numerals. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Quadrants should not be interchanged. There are also points or dots that we can see inside the Cartesian plane, and these dots are what we call points. We can also call it coordinates or ordered pairs. Each point or coordinate determines the location in the Cartesian plane. But how are you going to determine the exact location of a point? A point is composed of an x-coordinate and a y-coordinate. So how are we going to locate the point of this given point? First, look at your x-axis. This point is aligned exactly at -2. Therefore, your x-coordinate will be -2. And this point is aligned at 3 for your y-axis. Thus, your y-coordinate should be 3. And that's it. This point is located at coordinate -2 and 3. Take note, -2 and 3 is different from 3 and -2. Let's have another example. Let's find the coordinate of point A. So we need to find the coordinates of point A. So the first thing you have to do is find first your x-coordinate and then look at your y-axis. This point is aligned exactly at 4 for your x-axis, and this point aligned exactly at 4 for your y-axis. Thus, point A coordinate is 4 and 4. Let's have the second example. Let's find the coordinate of point B. So look at your x-axis first. Point B is aligned exactly at 2. So your x-coordinate will be 2. And your y-coordinate will be -2. Thus, the coordinate of B is 2 and -2. let's proceed to our last example. What would be the coordinate of point C? What do you think? I will give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The coordinate of point C is -3 and -3. What if we have this example? If a point lies on the x-axis, its coordinate is x is 0. Now look at the point. At what number does the point exactly lie? The point exactly lies at -1, and therefore point D has a coordinate of -1 and 0. What if a point lies on y-axis? So if a point lies on the y-axis, its coordinate will be 0 and y. Now look at the points. Look at the dots. At what number does the point exactly lie? Correct. It is at 2. Positive 2. Therefore, point E has a coordinate of 0 and 2. You have already determined or identified how to locate a certain point or coordinate in a Cartesian plane. Now let's go back to the quadrants. In quadrant 1, your coordinate will be both positive. Your x coordinate will be positive and your y will also be positive. For quadrant 2, your coordinate will be negative and positive. For quadrant 3, it will be both negative. And for quadrant 4, it will be positive and negative. Try to look at the examples. This is quadrant 1. And as you can see, the coordinates for quadrant 1 are all positive. So for point A, we have coordinate of 4 and 4. For point E, we have also positive 2 and positive 2. For quadrant 2, as you can see, your x coordinates are negative, while your y coordinate are positive. Therefore, your coordinates for quadrant 2 is negative and positive. While for point C, your x and y are both negative. And for point B, your x will be positive and your y will be negative. Now what do you think is the coordinate of the origin? It would be 0, 0. How are we going to plot points? Suppose you are asked to plot coordinate -3 and -1. So our x coordinate is -3 and our y coordinate is -1. Now look at your x-axis. -3 can be found at this point, and -1 can be found at y-axis on that point. Now think of an imaginary line. Suppose this is the imaginary line of -3, and this is the imaginary line for -1. And this is the point at which the two imaginary lines intersect. And therefore, this point has a coordinate of -3 and -1. Let's try another example. Plot the coordinate 4 and -3. Our x coordinate is +4 and our y coordinate is -3. The imaginary line for +4 is this one, and the imaginary line for our y coordinate, which is -3, is there. This is the intersection of the two imaginary lines, and therefore the coordinate of 4 and -3 can be found at this location. Now let's try this figure. At what point is the church located? This is the church. And the church has a coordinate of positive 3 and positive 1. And at what quadrant is the church located? The church is located at quadrant 1. Next, at what point is the hospital located? This is the hospital, and it has coordinates negative 2 and positive 4. And at what quadrant is the hospital located? Exactly, it is at quadrant 2. At what point is the boy located? The boy is located at point negative 1 and 0. And as you can see, the point or the coordinate lies exactly at the x-axis. And what axis? Of course, it is at x-axis. Here are the things you need to remember. The x-coordinate is listed before the y-coordinates. Do not forget to put arrowheads to both ends of the axis. And lastly, in making the two axes, always align the axes in the grid. That's all for today, and kindly see your formative assessment. Thank you.